Hey everybody, hope you guys doing alright. So, I've said this before, but I feel like I should say it again. So sword, it's interesting. I mean, it makes sense now, but so both me and Joshua Pops have just felt the inclination within the side of ourselves to just practice martial arts and swords. And he's one of the only other, I think he's the only other human being that I've met that's really like actively like fucked around with swords, like in sticks, and just like that whole concept of like playing with swords into his adult years. And I have too, there's a reason for that, so I'm gonna get into that. So when you're thinking about weapons and having a sword as opposed to a firearm, let's just say, when you shoot a bullet, okay, from a gun, okay, now that bullet leaves the muzzle of the rifle or the handgun or whatever fucking firearm you have, and it goes out, and it leaves you. It's leaving your essence, it's leaving your body, it's leaving your energetic field. Like there's studies that say that human beings emit a certain energetic field around them, kind of like a force field based on who you are, your energy levels. So anyway, that bullet leaves you and it leaves that field. Okay, so now it's on its own trajectory with its own energy field and in the environment with everything else around it. So in my opinion, like I've had witnesses, I've had experiences in my life, and I've had witnesses too who saw this happen, where spiritual deflection does exist. There was a football that Joshua and his buddy Adam, who's also kind of a friend of mine. So I was in New Orleans on the streets, and we were in the backyard of their friend's house. They were playing football, and like one of the things they would do is they'd throw the football as hard as they could at each other. Like that was like their thing, was just like who could throw it the hardest and catch it at the same time. And so like they would get fucking into it, or they're both very strong men. And I was sitting at a table behind, I think it was Joshua, and I was kind of like, I saw him doing it, and like something was telling me like, you might want to get up and move. But there wasn't like a really like, I do have some shyness. I'm still working on getting over it, and especially this was like 5 or 6 years ago, so I was even more shy back then. And I was on the streets, and I was at their friend's house, and so I didn't want to just be like, oh, I'm just gonna move over here. Like I was in a seat, and I was just gonna stay in that seat. They chose to throw the football, so I'm gonna let them do their fucking thing. And anyway, so I had a feeling that football might hit me in the head. And sure enough, I guess, but as I had that feeling, I looked away because I was like, I don't want to move. I don't know what to do. So I just looked away, and the ball, I mean, I didn't see it, but according to Adam, because I think he was the one who threw it, he called it a spiritual deflection. He was like, dude, that ball should have hit you in the fucking head. And I guess somehow it just kind of went around my head and fucking ended out in the street. I'm telling you guys this just to explain a point to you. Like when your energy gets to a certain point, especially if you're doing things that are really to help others out, like in a service to righteousness, the Most High's love, goodness, whatever it is to you, there is protection that can come to you, especially if you've been doing a lot of good deeds in just your life in general. So anyway, getting back to the bullet versus a sword. So it's important. The sword is so imperative, and I think why me and both Joshua and others have talked about why swords, especially when fighting against these malevolent extraterrestrials, which a lot of people have described as like malevolent reptilians, because I think there's benevolent and malevolent reptilians, just like there's malevolent and benevolent human beings. But with the malevolent ones, very high vibrational, righteous human beings that are very well trained with the sword are a threat to them. Straight up. It's because of their energy. Like when your energy is at that high level, you literally emit a force that fucks with them. And when you're holding that sword that you've been practicing with for years, if you're a master swordsman, it's gonna take some time to get fucking good with that shit. When you're holding that sword that you've been practicing for very many years, and you're doing your moves and your techniques, you're building up your momentum, your energy, that's all propulsion, that's all perpetuation, that's all power that can overpower these creatures that are built physically much more powerful than us, but energetically, spiritually, human beings have more capability to get to a higher frequency because that's the way we're designed. But on a physical level, that's why if you try to like just duke them out like in some type of a more primitive manner, you're gonna lose, because that's fighting them on their terms instead of doing what a human being was here designed to do, which is to spread love. So that's why I've been saying like our most powerful weapon is love, and it's like through the loving actions you do every day that's going to help prepare you and fuel you for the fight against evil to come. And this is why having a sword, being trained with a sword, and why developing a militia unit, a security force unit, anti-corruption unit specifically designed to work with melee weapons, even bows and arrows. A lot of these things can be made out of hemp too. I think is absolutely pivotal and actually completely necessary. Like it is what's the word? Sorry, I'm a little tired. It's imperative for our victory for us to develop squadrons and teams of people who are able to wield swords and also have very loving, high vibrational, energetic fields. And again, that's in, you know, dealing with that. Not only is that good for malevolent extraterrestrials, but even human beings that are of a very nefarious nature. You'll find, based on my experience, I feel like people who are really like divine and good and pure and done a lot of good in their lives, like those bullets might not hit you. That's what I'm saying. Like, but that's where you have to be good. You have to really do the good work. You have to be true in what you believe in and actually like do something about it, not just speak about it. Love is an action, so there's actions that are required. I mean, speaking's good, but what's more powerful, saying that you love somebody or doing something to actually help them out in a physical way that shows that you love them? What takes more energy? What takes more effort? That's a very simple way to figure out what's more powerful, is how much effort is required. You know, something that requires more effort is going to yield more power. It's kind of basic physics. So same thing is true with love and actions in love and speaking with love. They're all different levels of goodness and vibrational in that manner, but one is more powerful than the other. So this is why action is imperative, and not just speaking about the word, but actually being about the word and finding actions to help align yourself with the word is the most powerful way to do it while speaking it. So it's like these things in tandem, and then when you start doing all of these things in tandem while training with martial arts, while training with a sword, while helping build this world with hemp and all these other beautiful organic materials that the gods, or you know, God or higher dimensional source, whatever you want to call it, whatever it is to you, gave to us, allowed us to be here and dealt with and deal with and work with, you know, all these things. Like I said, they work together to develop more power for you. And this is how we can gain back this planet, gain back sway of this planet, and also regain our essentially lost humanity, in my opinion. So anyway, all right, I love you guys. Hope you have a good day. Bye.